Well, hi there, everybody. My name's Larry Jacobs. This is Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio. It's May 24th, 2023. Thank you so much for listening today. And as I always like to say, you probably listen in on the archives. Most people do. It's the nature of podcasting, and everything is archived over at our home website for our American Consortium for Equity and Access over at ace-ed.org, ace-ed.org. All right, we just see our magazine over there, our online journal called Equity and Access, which we're pretty darn proud of. And everything we do over there is free for educators. So please go over, just click on the magazine cover, enjoy the issue. It's an online journal. All of our podcasts are over there, literally thousands of them that we've done over the years. You can pick and choose what you want to listen to over there. And also we have a icon there for our awards program, which we are extremely proud of here at the consortium. Our nominations are now open for the 2023 Excellence in Equity Awards. That's all, again, at ace-ed.org. And you'll see the icon there, but you can go /awards if you want to go directly over there. There were 160-plus nominees and over 50 winners in 2022 in our Excellence in Equity Awards, and we're looking to highlight and celebrate even more contributions to equity and access this year. On our website, you'll find 29 categories dedicated to companies and organizations, products and leaders, along with 15 categories for educators, paraprofessionals, and support staff of all roles. 20 of the categories are all new this year. You can be sure to check them out over there. And when we do this for educators, it is free. All right. The nomination process is open until August 4th, but now is the best time for companies for the best pricing. And a lot of companies do get involved with this. Okay. They want to have their products recognized. They want to sponsor educators, et cetera, et cetera. So you know, today is May 24th. The early bird period goes until June 2nd, just about a week left. So please, check it all out at ace-ed.org or /awards. And if you have a question, just write us at awards@ace-ed.org, and we'll be happy to answer them for you. But we're pretty proud of our awards thing, and people who win the awards are pretty proud of it as well. We devote a whole issue to the awards program and all the winners each year, so I hope a lot of people do nominate, okay, their friends, their colleagues, the companies they like, et cetera, et cetera. Today, and I got to thank my good friends over at Discovery for helping me put this show together. Well, I'm going to bring them on right now. We've got Erin O'Malley, and Erin is the school principal over at St. Teresa Catholic School in Virginia, and she was the dean of students prior to that, director of counseling, which is key to all this at Bishop O'Connell High School in Arlington, Virginia. Now she's at St. Teresa, and we have also Letitia Barr. Letitia, you'll love this. She is a parenting blogger. She is a middle school computer science teacher. I want to get this all straight. She's an award-winning technology, education, and parenting blogger, and she founded a nice website. Please go over. It's called Tech Savvy Mama, techsavvymama.com. It's pretty cool. She founded that in 2008. Okay, and she's also, which is what we're going to be talking about today, the education programs consultant and education advisory board member for the Foundation for Advancing, and give a listen to these two words, alcohol responsibility. And that's what we're going to be talking about here, because it is just so important. At this time of year, I have to say, you know, let me just go on personal here. I despise drunk driving. I despise it. Okay, I can't believe anyone does it. Okay, it makes me nauseous and sick. Okay, and kids have to understand that responsibility, okay, is part of where everybody's going to grow up drinking pretty much. Okay, but you have to do it responsibly, and kids have to understand that from the get-go, and that's what we're going to be talking about today with the Ask, Listen, Learn program. Okay, that I just want to go over this, the 20th anniversary of that. It's the largest anti-drinking school program that there is. It's all free digital underage drinking prevention program for kids 9 to 13, for their parents, their educators, with a goal to reduce underage drinking. Please, I cannot say that enough. I'm not the expert in it, but I got two people who deal with it all the time, one in school and one with the actual association. So let me say hello, first of all, to Erin. Good morning, Erin. I'm Larry.
Hi, Larry. Good morning. It's great to be here today. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure to have you here. Okay, Principal O'Malley. Before we go further, just tell us about St. Teresa. Not St. Teresa, but your school. Not St. Teresa, but your school.
Yeah, we are a K-8 school out here in Ashburn, Virginia. This is, I'm in my 25th year of education, and I've spent most of my time in the high school level. My 5th year working with K-8, and I'll tell you, it's where it's at. The development going on over here is amazing. It really is. And I'm also It really is. And this is the age group we're talking about here with our Ask, Listen, Learn program. And I'm a proud member of the Educational Advisory Board for Responsibility.org also. This is my 9th year, and it's great. So we're doing good things. We're doing great things.
You are doing good things. You really are. And you said Ashburn, Virginia. I don't know where that is. Where's that? Where are you located? Yeah.
Well, we're in Loudoun County, which is, we are probably about 30 miles outside of D.C. So Northern Virginia. Okay. I work for the Diocese of Arlington, so that's part of it. That's Northern Virginia. Yep.
Yeah, I got it. I knew where Arlington was, but you could have moved a lot further south. So I just wanted to find out where that is. That's great.
There we
go. Okay, yep. And I'm glad you like K-8. You're really enthusiastic about it. Okay,
absolutely.
That's terrific. Okay, I just love it. Okay, Letitia, you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, good morning. And hi, Erin. It's nice to have you on the line as well. Erin and I know each other from our work in the Education Advisory Board for
It's going to be even more fun today. I think it's great. We're going to talk about this. Letitia, where are you located today?
So I'm in Silver Spring, Maryland, just north of Washington, D.C.
Very nice. Okay, is that that home base for you?
That's home base, yep. I grew up in California, and now I'm a mom. I have 2. I have a college student who just finished her first year of college.
Congrats.
And I have a junior who's a rising senior, honestly. So everything that we're talking about today in Ask, Listen, Learn and responsible, teaching underage drinking prevention, these are all conversations that I've had in my house with my kids through the many years I've been working with Responsibility.org in this role.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I said it before. My agita begins to build up. I just hate drunk driving. I just hate it. Okay, I just hate it beyond words. Okay, and I know this goes beyond that. We don't want kids drinking and driving, but we don't even want kids drinking if they don't know what they're getting themselves into. It's against the law, and it's just not good for them. We're going to talk about that today. It really gets me going. Okay, it's just frightening to me. Okay, Ask, Listen, Learn is the program, I assume, developed by the Foundation for Advancing Alcohol Responsibility. Would I be correct? It's their program, Letitia?
Yes, that's correct. It's one of many programs that Responsibility.org has. There are many different initiatives, and you mentioned drunk driving. We do have people on our team who work on drunk driving initiatives with state legislators and governors and, all kinds of different people to really make sure that this isn't happening. So, today we're focusing on Ask, Listen, Learn, which is one piece of one piece of the many things that we do, and it targets kids kind of in Erin's sweet spot. We target the middle grade, honestly.
That to me is even, I know why you're doing it. That's to get them to understand this before they're really even, I hope. Actually, that's a good question. I don't even know this. Is there, and I'll throw it out to Letitia. Is there a challenge with kids who are grades, what is it, 4 to 8 drinking? We're just trying to prevent them from even starting, right? I hope there's no problem with that age group.
Well, what we've seen in the data, the data that we have for the last 20 years, Ask, Listen, Learn has been empowering educators, students, and families with the resources that are needed to help students say yes to a healthy lifestyle and no to underage drinking. And what the data tells us about underage abuse of substances in the last 20 years is that underage drinking is down. And it reached its lowest levels during the pandemic, and it's really still at pre-pandemic lows. So that's really important for your listeners and the parent audience to understand as well. Over the last 20 years, the rate of past month alcohol consumption among underage youth has decreased 53%. So that's pretty significant. And what we find is that programs like ours help inform kids, and informed kids, when kids have the facts and they know these things, they tend to make good decisions. So educating kids early and often is really key. And what we find is not every conversation is about alcohol. decision-making, goal setting, and other student development fundamentals really play a huge role in future decision-making. And that also includes saying no to underage drinking.
Here. I love what you guys are doing. I think that's just great. And, when it's, to me, and I'll just kind of combine the two, to a certain degree, it's all about what's very popular these days in schools is what we call social emotional learning. Okay, the ability to make a right decision based on fact and understanding, and being resilient if you make a mistake, et cetera. It's that important. Erin, I got to talk to you. You were a high school director of counseling. Okay,
right.
And you would face the, quote, underage drinking problem, I hope, this is great what I'm saying, far more than you would today at a K-8 school, I hope. Okay, and just talk about that from your experience as a director of counseling and, at a high school now to being the principal of a middle school, basically. Well, K-8, an elementary through middle. Okay, just talk about, your experiences with, as an educator, with Ask, Listen, Learn, and teaching kids to have responsibility when it comes to underage drinking. I mean, to me, it's very important. So go ahead. Just talk about your
that's correct.
Yeah.
And, we've also moved into the world of talking about cannabis as well. So, and we saw that
Nothing
as well.
Underage. I don't like underage anything. Okay, so go ahead, talk about it.
So our role, and we know, kids don't grow and they don't learn in a silo, and neither do adults and parents. And part of what we do is empowering the kids to make good decisions and teaching the parents to make good decisions. So where does that start? It starts with talking about what effects alcohol and cannabis have on the brain. And the great news is students are learning to make better decisions, and they're caring about their bodies more. And there's that correlation with the underage drinking going down. So the education programming is helping. It's data supported, it's backed, and it's our job. At the schools, we are partnering with parents. We are teaching our parents the same language that we're using, so we're using it at home as well. And that's what we stand for. It's all about education, and it's about empowering our parents to be confident in the conversations that they can have with their own children.
What's the reaction of kids? I mean, are kids in fourth and fifth grade even thinking about this? What's the reaction to all this? And I'll give it to you, Erin, then we'll swing it over to Letitia. Because you're starting them on something I don't think they're really even thinking about at that stage of the game. So it's important to get it in their heads beforehand, so to speak. Make a preemptive strike, if I may. Go ahead.
I love that. I love that question. And I'll tell you what, it's really interesting what kids are curious about. Kids are learning things from older siblings, from each other, and the internet, and so they're curious. So what do they do when they find out even a word or a term? They go to their friends or they Google it. So here we are, faced with some of these conversations with kids as early as 9, and that's why we use the term, we say talk early, talk often about healthy decisions, because kids are finding out this information at a very, very young age. They don't know what it means, and we don't want them to Google it to find out. We want to be able to educate, right? We want to be, because the internet's great. It has good information. It has bad information. So if we can empower our parents and we can teach our students the right things, they won't be so curious to go find out on their own.
That's interesting. That's a good way to put it. So, look, it really is. You stem the curiosity before they become curious, because going into the internet sometimes can be, if I may, can be a wormhole. Okay, the deeper you go, the worse it gets. It's nuts. We know that. It's unbelievable. So let me ask. I'll throw this one to Letitia. Letitia, what is the actual program? Okay, is it on a computer? Is it books? Is it, what? When people go to Ask, Listen, Learn, what happens? And I'm talking about teachers. Okay, teachers want to do this in school. So what happens? It's just Google Ask, Listen, Learn. You'll find everything, folks. Now talk about asklistenlearn.org. Talk about what it really is, literally.
Well, when someone goes to asklistenlearn.org, they will find 3 tabs in the upper right corner of the site. One is for parents, one is for teachers, and one is for kids, When a teacher goes to the teacher tab, there's all kinds of free resources, and I can't emphasize free enough. As a teacher, as a former teacher myself, teachers are busy. We know that, and you don't have a lot of time. You don't want to pay your own money because there's enough of that going on in the world. So all of our curriculum resources are free for teachers to download from our website, and there are lesson plans, there are printables, there are videos on YouTube, and they are also on our site and on our YouTube site as well. So everything is available in that one place on asklistenlearn.org. In addition to that, we know the homeschool connection is very important. If a teacher or a PE teacher or a health education teacher is teaching these in their classroom, or perhaps if a school counselor is plugging in, there's materials for school counselors, there are materials for teachers, there are also materials that can be sent home to parents because, like Erin was saying, giving parents and empowering parents with the language that they need to feel confident in having this conversation in their own home with their kids is really important, because we know as teachers we only spend so much time with students throughout the day, but the conversation needs to continue. But so many parents are worried about how to do that, or they don't feel comfortable having that conversation. So we have a letter that can be printed out, that can be emailed as a PDF. It can be customized if schools choose to do so, and that can be sent home to parents, just letting them know what their kids are learning and how to continue that conversation. We have some really great conversation starters for families to use at home with their kids if they don't know where to go to start this conversation. We have all that available for them.
If I could piggyback on that, everything Letitia said, and also, we are. What I love about this is developed and tested by educators for educators. So the work is done for everybody, and it's data-backed, research-based, and it's dynamic. We're always even our role on the Educational Advisory Board, we have people from across a real good cross-section of educators and professionals, but just really constantly reviewing this information. And back to the FREE, as an administrator, former teacher, counselor, free is good, but free doesn't always mean it's great stuff, right? But this is great stuff. This is really good stuff, and it answers the question: how do I approach this? What do I say? What do I do? Because we don't always have all the time as educators. We need this in our hands, and this provides that.
Right, and to just expand upon the curriculum itself, it is science-based. It is tied to standards, so it's tied to national science standards. It's tied to school counseling standards, and you can go on our website, and what we have are we have an overview lesson of how alcohol affects the brain, and then we have curriculum and videos that speak to how the different parts of the brain are affected by alcohol. So kids will learn what part of the brain is responsible for your gross motor activities and what happens when you drink alcohol. What does that look like? So if we know that kids are curious, we know that they see adults in their environment who might be drinking, and if they see an adult slurring their words, if they see an adult who might be stumbling because they've lost that gross motor control, our lessons teach what part of the brain is responsible for those functions in a human being and how alcohol affects those very specific parts of the brain that make people act like that. So these things are very science-based, they're evidence-based, they are standards-aligned, and they are free. So, we give kids the facts, We're not just telling them no, but we're telling them the why behind the no and how things affect them so they can make good decisions and stay healthy.
If you tell them no, they'll do it. Okay, you're doing it the right way. Okay,
right. I mean, they need to understand. They need to understand the why behind the no, of course, and then they can make really informed decisions. Yeah, no is no, right? No,
yeah, I mean, we all know as parents and teachers exactly what no happens when we put that. I got to ask you this, Erin, and this is a very important question for the educators we talk to. How do you fit this in? Okay, to the curriculum, and I do understand, its importance, but, it's a rainy day and we've run out of things to do, we'll talk about underage drinking. No, that doesn't work. Okay, it has to be, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying. Okay, but you're the principal of the school, you were the director of counseling over at Bishop O'Connell, okay, the high school. How did everybody fit it into to get the points across, and where during the school day, et cetera?
Yeah, that's good. Love this question. This is what we're always doing. So, schools certainly every school knows what their population and what their needs are, and schools will often take a whole school approach to programs, but that's what I really also like about this is there's something for everybody, and you can use as much or as little as you want. Our evaluation shows that even a small exposure to prevention helps kids make better decisions. So, and what I love also is that it's standards aligned. So we have a lot of support, and I'll go through that in a little bit. Just to some of our sponsors and our partners, and we talked about counseling standards, and they're aligned with those. They can fit very naturally into a counseling program. We know across the board that schools are doing SEL programming, and we partnered with Discovery on SEL, and this fits perfectly in a school-wide SEL program. It fits in health classes, psychology classes. I've used it, in teaching a psych class, because it's all about brain development, right? So there's something for everybody, and you can use as little or as much as you want.
Right. It's just so important. And I have to ask, who is using it? Okay, you do run a school. Who's doing it? Okay, you're K-8, so you've got both the generic elementary school teacher, if I may, bless their hearts, okay, right. And you've also got the subject teachers, the history, science, social studies teachers, English teachers, all right? Who's using it? Okay, or maybe they're all using it. I hope so.
Well, you know what? It fits everywhere. We do a school-wide SEL program. I agree. Here, so it fits everywhere. So, like I said, we partner with Shape America. We know that health and nurses are using it, right? The information for nurses is critical. We partner with the American School Counselor Association. It's working in our school. It's working in individual counseling. It's working in small group counseling and classroom counseling. It's in the health programs. It's taught across the board. So I've alluded to it in so many ways. It's wonderful.
That's really cool. And Letitia, I got to ask you, and I know you're a computer science teacher. What do you teach in Maryland? Obviously, at a middle school, right? You still teach?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. You want to brag about that? What school do you teach at? You want to say?
I'd rather not, but
okay, that's
I teach
fine.
in Montgomery. I teach for Montgomery County Public Schools.
There you go. Okay, good enough. Okay, I didn't mean to put you on the spot with that. I just thought if you wanted to brag,
I just like to have a little anonymity.
Of course, I perfectly understand. Okay, there's no problem there. Maybe this is not your real name. Maybe you're somebody else. Okay.
No, it was
I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding you. All right. Okay, Letitia, how and why did you get involved with this? You're a tech person, okay? And you have Tech Savvy Mama, which is a cute site. Again, people can go over there. You're a middle school science teacher. How and why did you get involved with this? It's interesting. Jump there.
That is a very good question. So back when I'm still blogging, I'm still actively blogging. I have been since 2008. I first got to know responsibility.org as a blogger. And at the time, my kids were in the sweet spot for a program that they were doing. And I was actually one of their first parenting bloggers that was brought on for their influencer program. And so I started working with them to write content on my site about how parents could have conversations with their kids about alcohol. And, it's funny we mentioned, kids seeing things in their environment and being around alcohol. One of the posts I wrote that first year that I was working with responsibility.org, we were at a Washington Nationals baseball game. And my daughter looked over at the big beer stand where there were a lot of people and there were lots of lights. And she said, "Mom, can I have a beer?" And I just looked at her and I said, "No." And I explained why. And she was like, "Oh, okay." But, kids are curious, right? They see things in their environment. Sure. And honestly, she was just testing. At this point, I had been working with responsibility.org, and, we had these conversations already, but here we were. And so for me as a parent, it was a very teachable moment because it was something in our environment that she was curious about. She wanted to know what I would say. And because I had the confidence and the language to have this very informed conversation with her, it wasn't just, no, you can't have it because it's illegal, but it was no, because it's not good for you. And, I got into some of the science behind and, healthy behaviors and good decision-making and all that. But that was a really impactful moment for me as a parent and her as a kid because she understood the why behind the no. And so working with responsibility.org for so many years has given me the confidence and the tools to have these conversations with my kids as they've grown up. You know, obviously my daughter just finished her first year in college, so the conversations that I've had with her, you know, that we've had together as a family about her being independent, and you know, we know that binge drinking
and in
happens
college
on college
where there's a lot of
campuses.
drinking. In college where there's a lot of drinking.
There certainly can be, and you know, peer pressure, the concern about maybe something getting flipped in your drink, how to keep yourself and also your friends safe is a really important part of that conversation for her. She's older, but then also, you know, my son, he's about to take his driving test in the next month, and he has a lot of friends who drive. And what are the conversations we need to have as a family as he's getting behind the wheel, you know, to keep himself safe. We've talked a lot about if you happen to be in a situation where you're not comfortable and someone you're with has been drinking, what do you need to do? And, you know, we have a plan behind that, and, you know, how to keep himself safe and how to keep his friends safe and off the road. You know, those are all very important conversations that stem from parents being willing to have this conversation in their house with their kids at a very young age. So the conversations change as kids get older, but they're just as important at every age and stage, starting with our middle grades and what we do through Ask, Listen, Learn.
Yeah, and, you know, we're talking here, you know, about, you know, K-12 basically, but what you learn in K-12 is going to have an effect. It's so hard. And when you go to college, and everybody, you know, I'm not telling anybody secrets here, there's a lot of kids drinking. Okay? Yeah. There's a lot of over drinking, if I may. All right? And, you know, you got to stay healthy. Okay? That's all there is to it. I'm not being a prude here, but you got to stay healthy and make smart choices. Okay? Everybody just got to do that. And there's a way to teach kids to make that decision. Okay, and feel good about making that decision. And that's a key thing, all right? You got to feel good about it. You can't feel like a dork about it. You got to feel good. That's what and I assume that's what this program does. It makes you feel good about helping yourself and your friends, okay? Stay safe and stay healthy. You know,
absolutely.
You know, it just, yeah. You know, I'm curious, okay, and I hate to say this, you know, you always see, and they used to do this at the high school in the town I used to live in, okay, they'd have a car wreck up on the lawn of the high school 2 days before the prom. Don't let this happen to you. The car would be smashed to smithereens, okay, and, you know, saying kids don't drive drunk, all right, and you guys are working against that, not just at the prom, but all the time. I'm just curious, do you have like I'd love to hear an anecdotal success story, okay, that just kind of puts this all into a real positioning here, real context.
Sure, I think our success comes from the data that we're seeing, that underage drinking is down significantly. I mean, like I said before, over the last 2 decades, the rate of past month alcohol consumption among underage youth has decreased 53%. So that probably has a trickle-down effect or trickle-up effect when you think about our high schoolers. If our kids if we're seeing that underage drinking is at really low levels, then that means probably our high schoolers are making better decisions as well, because they are informed. They've been growing up with this kind of curriculum. They understand how alcohol affects growing bodies and brains, and they have the information to make good decisions.
And, you know, you guys are fighting all those ads during the football game, all those beer and liquor ads during every football game. I mean, really. And I know that all those companies say, you know, please drink responsibly. They say that at the end, which I find a little bit cynical. Okay. But, you know, they got to advertise their product, but it shows a lot of people having an awful good time, which people do at a bar. It's just hard to balance that. Okay. That just shows the power and strength of the curriculum that you're providing out there. Before we go, you wanted to do this, and I'll ask Letitia, I guess, or maybe it's Erin, but I'll ask Letitia. Okay, the partners. Who are the partners? And I know Discover. Who are you partnering with to make all this happen? Because it's good stuff. 20 years worth.
I'll let Erin take this one.
Erin, you're on.
So, and these are wonderful partnerships, and it's nice because it's nice to be involved in several of these myself professionally, but we are Discovery Education, the SEL Coalition. We've got masterclass videos. Healthy, they're wonderful. They're over here. Healthy Classroom Infographics, Classroom Champions. This is an awesome organization. And actually, one of the founders is on our educational advisory board. But this is
He's an Olympic athlete.
Yeah,
I know them.
His sister's on our board, and the Messlers, and they're incredible
Steve
people.
Messler, isn't it? Steve
Yeah,
Messler?
Steve Messler and his sister Lee Clarice. Yeah, they're wonderful.
They're great.
On our board. We get to partner with them. The American School Counselors Association.
Yep.
They are a global advocacy group for school counselors. Incredible. The Association for Middle Level Educators. Also an international organization, Shape America. More. We're starting to work with Teachers Pay Teachers. All educators know what TPT is. Teachers Pay Teachers. So it is awesome that we have all these supports, that we're partnering with all these individuals and organizations. It's great.
Well, and really the reason for all those partnerships is to make sure that people know that our resources and lessons exist for free, for educators, for school counselors, and also for parents as well, to benefit kids, honestly, and to make sure that they know the reason why behind the no and the science behind how alcohol affects growing brains and bodies.
It's all about the kids.
That.
It's all about the child.
Yeah, it is. It is. But it's traumatic if, God forbid, anything happens with all this, and it's traumatic for everybody. So it affects more than a child. If, God forbid, something happens.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's this is good stuff, and I want to emphasize again, it's all up to standards. It's all free. It's all quality stuff. It's been around for 20 years, and it's for K-12, but K-8 is the sweet spot, right?
Yep.
Am I right,
9 to 13. Yep,
Yep.
absolutely.
Ask, Listen, Learn, the Ask, Listen, Learn program and materials and lessons, those are really geared towards grades 5 through 8. So that's really our sweet spot there. Responsibility.org does have different initiatives and programs that target other age groups. Like there's a program for college students that we do. There are also other initiatives that really target adults, and things like, the virtual bar, and knowing what a standard drink size is, and emphasizing the importance of responsibility in the realm of when you're drinking, make sure you have food, make sure you stay hydrated, and things like that. Like ways adults can be responsible when they are over 21 to make sure that they are keeping themselves safe, honestly. And also being role models for kids.
We invite everybody to go to our websites, asklistenlearn.org, responsibility.org, and really explore. It's so user-friendly. Just hop on and check everything out.
It is. asklistenlearn.org. Ladies, you're wonderful, and you really do good work, I got to tell you.
Thank you.
Okay, you should
Thank you for having us.
You should be pretty damn proud of yourselves. You're doing good stuff with a lot of good people. Okay?
Well, thanks so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you both, Erin. Thank you, Letitia.
All right.
Bye, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, I got to tell you. So people go out of the way to do things right. I got to tell you, Erin O'Malley, besides being this principal of St. Teresa Catholic School in Virginia, okay, she does all this, is on the board of the Foundation for Advancing Alcohol Responsibility, and Letitia Barr, who has her website, Tech Savvy Mama. You might want to check that out. It's pretty cool. All right, techsavvymama.com. It's good stuff, and I'll say it again, it's free and it's quality. Okay, and it helps kids, so please check it out. In today's world, they need all the stability they can get. It's good stuff. We'll archive over at ace-ed.org, and that's where our magazine is, and where our everything's free over there, the magazine, the awards program, et cetera, et cetera. Please check it out. I'm Larry Jacobs. This is Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio. Thanks for listening.